Hello, I'm Jake Ketterer and my wife is Sarah Ketterer and we are Ketterer Homes, and this is my mom Teresa, and she also is a part of the Ketterer Homes team, and she's going to show us how to cook my grandmother's famous cornbread, and there's a secret way to do it and only she that I know can actually pull it off. So I and her came together and we said we're going to film this today so we can send this to our family members, and also if you're interested in an amazing cornbread recipe, you got to check this out. Let's get to it.
All right, sounds good.
Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread.
Everyone wants to know how to make good Southern cornbread. Well, it's not just the recipe, it's the technique. So today, hopefully, I'll be able to share that with you and you'll be able to pass it on to your children as well. The very first step is you have to have a cast iron skillet. So as you see, it's in there and it's waiting for me to heat it up. That's the first step. So you want to go to your oven, hit bake, go all the way to 450 degrees. That's a pretty hot oven, but this is a hot, quick bread, and so the temperature has to be high. 450 to start. As soon as you do that, you got your oven on, you're going to want to open the door. You want to pull that out. You got your cast iron skillet, an 8 or 9 inch skillet there in the oven, and you want to put 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil in that pan. You can also use bacon grease if you so desire. I'm not a fan of that, but it's up to you. And now while you're gathering your other ingredients, you're going to let that get hot. It needs to stay in there between about 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. The way I can tell is whenever you open it, you want it to be really hot, and there might be a wisp or two of smoke coming off the oil. So that's kind of what you're looking for. One of the most important ingredients, in my opinion, is Martha White brand, self-rising, buttermilk, cornmeal mix. No substitutes. That's one of the best. It's what my mama used or thereabout. It's been around forever, and so this is what we want in our...
So you're saying that's probably the secret?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if it's a secret or not. This is just what we do. So I store it in this container. And this might be the secret. This was my mama's measuring cup.
So that's in there?
Yes.
Gotcha.
This right here is in this big old thing right here, and I just dumped that everywhere. This was my mama's measuring cup. That might be a secret, possibly. I don't know. But anyways, we want to get 4 of these. I'm just going to use my hands like...
What size measuring cup?
Oh, we want 2 cups of this, and this is a 4th cup. So we want 4 cups of this, or 2 cups. But I'm going to use Mama's measuring cup because I always do.
So you can do 2 cups.
2 cups.
Or 4 1/4 cups.
Yes, if you have your mom's
If you have your mom's measuring.
If you do, you never know. It might be what makes it good. 2 cups of cornmeal. We're going to add 1 egg. It needs to be a large egg, about like that. Here's another. This is a 4th cup of vegetable oil. Again, if you really prefer, you can use the bacon grease. You will have to melt it. So, and you don't want to get it too hot to cook your egg in your pan. So that's always something to consider. So you've got a 4th cup of vegetable oil. I'll pour that in. Like that. Alright, to this we add, and this is very, very, very important. This is buttermilk. Full fat, 4% buttermilk. And it needs to be a good quality. I'm not shooting out any prompts or anything, and you want to make sure it's good and cold, and you always want to shake it really good to distribute the fat throughout the milk. Don't want it down on the bottom. You do not want substitutes. You don't want to be putting no vinegar and milk. You know, people do that to make buttermilk. It doesn't work for this recipe. Now, this is a 2-cup measure. Like I said, a lot of this recipe is just passed down. So you just kind of have to go by looks a lot of times, not necessarily an accurate measure. Like we put 6 tablespoons of oil in the pan, which is getting hot in the oven right now. That's an approximation as well. So I'm just kind of like trying to nail down these measurements for you. All right, to this, we've added our oil and our egg. So we want to mix that first. Break your yolk up in your egg. Get that stirred in with your oil. Now we start adding our buttermilk. The recipe will call for 1 1/4 cups of milk, but we're going to need more than that. So I'm just going to start with probably about a cup-ish. Get that mixed in. Put my glasses on so I can see better. Now this is the key here. When I was a little girl, my mother said, now come here, Teresa. And she took me by my hand and she said, this is how it's supposed to feel when it's ready. And this is how it sounds. Well, we're not there yet because that is way too thick. And you'll be surprised, a cornbread recipe made from buttermilk is usually on the thinner side. But we just want to start so that we make sure and mix it all together so there's no clumps. All right, to this now we're going to continue to add the milk. See, that's way too thick. If you think you're going to pour that in and get good cornbread, you're not. And for crying out loud, don't ever put sugar in it. Oh, God. Some people do, and no. There's a place for that, but not in Southern cornbread that you cook in a skillet. All right, let's see how we're looking here. That's getting there. Still too thick. But hear that sound? That's part of the process. That little sound, that little da-dunk.
That little thump flickety sound?
Yeah, that little thump flickety sound. It's still just a little thick, so I'm gonna go back and get just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay, that's about right there. But she would say, now Teresa, see that? That's how it's supposed to feel. Look at that. Hey. It's pretty thin. Hear that sound? And you don't want to sit there and stir it like that and every which way. Just kind of give it that. That incorporates air into the batter so that it rises better and it's more moist. See there? We don't want to overmix it either. This is a quick bread. But you can see it's pretty thin. All right, we're going to check this pan. And one of the ways, too, you can kind of smell the smell. It's like it's getting hot. So like, you know.
Like cooked oil.
Cooked oil.
But not burnt.
Not burnt. We don't want it burnt. But now we're going to pull this pan out, and that thing is hot. You see smoke coming off? Yeah, a little bit. Just little wisps. We don't want it on fire. Now, when we get ready to pour this in here, you guys listen. You want it about right there.
Okay.
Right
halfway.
There? Well, a little bit more than half.
Okay.
And put a little more. Yes, won't hurt. Okay. And you don't want to be taking your pan out of the stove because it lets too much heat out. So we're going to put that back in there now and let that cook for about 18 to 20 minutes.
All right, I hear it.
All right. Normally I don't time it, but today I am. So that's been 20 minutes, and this oven is hot, 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 and the bread is hot, and I'm left-handed, so y'all don't want to do this left-handed. I'm going to do both hands. Jake, you got it?
Got it.
Okay, as soon as it comes out, I'm going to set it right there on the stove eye. Close that oven back up. Turn this off, and then we're going to dump it in a plate. Pow.
Came out really easy.
Well, that did because, like I said, my skillet's been around forever. Now, what you're going to do with your skillet while that's sitting there, keep your pot holder on the handle. That thing is screaming hot. So we're going to take a paper towel, wipe the inside of the pan like so. This is how you take care of cast iron for 100 years or more. And pop it right back in that hot oven. And that's where it'll be until the next time we get ready to use it. Now this here is Southern cornbread. That's how it's supposed to sound. It's got to have a good old hard crust. Well, not hard, but crispy, crunchy. Now I'm going to cut a slice. See how good that slice is down through there. There we are.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Moist. Crispy on the outside.
I've actually have eaten this my whole life, so I know that this is heaven in your mouth. I'll tell you that for sure.
Good. No.
Perfect, Mom.
Awesome. Oh, I think I'll
It's
have a
not
little bit
dry
too.
at all.
Mm-mm.
Thanks, Mom, for sharing this recipe. If you would like to see some more of her recipes that we get to share because they've been passed down through our family, hit a like or subscribe, or just message us and say, yeah, we'd love to have some more recipes from your mom from Ketterer Homes. So thanks, Mom. Love you.
For all my family and friends, this is for you. Merry Christmas. Love y'all.
And this is my mother, Teresa. My mother, Teresa. She's not a saint,
Yeah.
Mother Teresa.
I am too.